Hey, welcome to Phrase by Phrase, where we are studying the Bible one phrase at a time. And today we're looking at James chapter 2, verses 19 and 20. Now, James has been making the argument that correct belief alone will not save us. And now he's going to give us an extreme example of that. So in verse 19, he says, "You believe that God is one." Now, that was the central tenet of Judaism. Monotheism, the belief in one God, was at the very heart, the very core of their religious system. They regularly daily would quote the great Shema, which says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God, the Lord is one God." So this is the very heart of their theology. So James mentions this really to represent all of their theological beliefs. And in essence, what he's saying to them is that their theology is correct. But from that, from having correct beliefs, they're making the assumption that correct theology meant they possessed a living faith. But it was an incorrect assumption. And so James proceeded to correct their thinking, because he goes on and he says in verse 19, "You do well. The demons also believe." So he's being a little bit sarcastic there. The first thing you need to notice here is that he says they do well, and that means that the correct understanding of God is important, but you can read the sarcasm in it. It's not enough. You can't be saved without a right understanding of Jesus Christ, but a right understanding of Jesus Christ by itself is not enough to be saved. And so James makes that point by showing us the absurdity of depending on theology alone, because he says the demons also believe. The demons have correct theology. If you think about it, there is no such thing as a liberal demon. They're very orthodox in what they know. Demons are not atheists. Demons are not agnostics. They know that God exists. They believe in the deity of Jesus of Nazareth. They said, "We know who you are." Demons believe in the virgin birth. They believe in the Trinity. They believe in the death of Christ on the cross for the sins of the world. They believe in the resurrection. They believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ. Demons know who Jesus is. And Mark 1, verses 23 and 24 says, "Then just there was a man in their village with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, 'What business do you have with each other, Jesus of Nazareth? You have come to destroy us. I know who you are, the Holy One of God.'" So this demon is saying, "I know you are the Holy One." So they had correct theology. They know the truth, but they're lost. They're not saved. That's why he uses them as an example. And the reason why they're not saved is because correct theology is not enough to save. But not only do they have correct theology, they even have a deep emotional support under that theology. For it says the demons believe, and then James writes, "and shudder." Right? And the word shudder means to bristle, to have the hair stand on its end. So they are in a high degree of terror concerning Jesus. They're emotionally stirred by the presence of Jesus, but they're still lost. See, in order to be saved, we have to believe the right things, and our heart also has to be engaged, but correct theology and strong emotional reactions to Jesus are not enough to be saved. Saving faith is intellectual and it is emotional, but it is also volitional. And that's the point that James is driving at, because in verse 20 he says, "But are you willing to recognize, you foolish fellow, that faith without works is useless?" So what he's saying here is, don't be foolish. Belief alone won't save you. Emotion won't save you. Your faith must include your will. All right? And when you give your whole will to God, it'll affect your behavior. True faith will result in works. All right? So we'll probe this deeper next time as we study the Bible, phrase by phrase. We'll see you there.